my god! Rockstar Games is currently building the most realistic open-world system of all time with GTA 6. Yes, GTA 6 will be unlike anything you've ever played before. Your apartment in GTA 6 will constantly change and adapt to your life. Your character can gain weight, lose weight, grow a beard, and even wear dirty clothes if you've been up to too much mischief. And the NPCs, they're no longer just decoration, because they actually react to you. If you cause trouble, they'll film you, call the cops, or post about you online. Even the weather, traffic, and the city itself adapt in real time. The days of, oh, it's just a game are over, because this is bordering on a dynamic simulation. And it even goes so far that Rockstar Games has decided to run its own AI server, and by AI, they mean the artificial intelligence of the NPCs as well as the world itself. Because GTA 6 will watch you, remember you, and change accordingly. And that's exactly what we're going to take a closer look at now. Yes, friends, you requested this topic, and today we're going to discuss it in more detail, because it's all about Rockstar Games' new gameplay system. So, for this topic, I have the following points that we'll be covering today. First, characters and appearance. Then we have interiors and apartments, world and environment, weather and nature, as well as the overall gameplay system. I will go through each point in detail and show you how GTA 6 has developed them. And for that, I have a variety of sources, whether official, like Trailer 1 and 2 or the 70 screenshots, or unofficial content from various sources, which are, of course, reputable. And that naturally includes the gameplay leak as well. So, as I said, point number 1, characters and appearance. Yeah, with Red Dead Redemption, we all celebrated together that Arthur Morgan had a dynamic system, specifically for his face. Because over time, not only did his hair grow longer, but his beard did too, automatically. On top of that, there was the nice feature that let us customize ourselves or get a haircut. But this small yet impressive detail amazed all of us, and it's highly likely that this system will also be in GTA 6. Because if you look at the different screenshots and trailer footage, you quickly notice that Jason definitely has different types of beards. We haven't seen much of a full beard yet. I think Rockstar Games is keeping that a bit of a secret. But rest assured, with this system, it will of course be revamped again in GTA 6. Plus, we shouldn't forget that we're playing in the modern world. That means we can have our individual style just the way we want it. So, what's new in GTA 6? Well, a female main character. And with a female character, we'll also be able to do things we haven't really seen before. For example, going shopping for dresses, wearing high heels and putting on makeup, maybe picking out the next bikini or even getting your nails done. But this equal and dynamic system goes even further. You rascals are all looking forward to the shoe store. But the shoe store will also be available for the male character, as you can see, among other things, on this poster in the official screenshot. So, the next point, gaining or losing weight. Yes, and the last time we really had this system in a big way was in GTA San Andreas. But you could also find it again in Red Dead Redemption 2. Back then, you could be really skinny, average, fat like me, or completely muscular. And you can also influence these different stages with food, exercise, or your general lifestyle. If you don't eat anything, you'll get really skinny. If you eat a lot, you'll get really fat. And if you dare to hit the gym, you'll get muscular. Speaking of gaining weight, that obviously includes muscle as well. And the fact that you can do in-game training has also been more or less officially confirmed. Because if we take a look at this screenshot of Lucia, for example, you can see that she's practicing martial arts. Yeah, and she's supposed to be pretty good in that area too. And if we pay closer attention to the background, we can see a gym. And there will also be outdoor gyms, which you can see in the second official trailer as well. Yeah, guys, the dude here who's working out is clearly Jason. You can tell by his tattoo. Oh right, and about tattoos. I don't think we need to go into more detail about that. That's kind of become standard in the GTA world. I think we'd rather dive into much more important things. That means we won't just be able to change our appearance in the face, but also physically. Yeah, and ever since the Stone Age ended, we have to wear something on our bodies, and that's clothing. And clothing will change and get dirty. Yes, depending on the environment you're in or what activity you're doing, these factors will determine how often you should change your clothes. because if we look at the various leaked clips, we can definitely see that Jason's clothing keeps changing. The stains here are different from the ones over there. Plus, you can even see old bullet holes. This means that when they talk about clothing changing, it could even mean that we get holes or maybe even tears. And among other things, what makes your clothes dirty is, of course, sweat, dirt, and injuries. Yeah, and that brings us to the first patent, because Rockstar Games has filed one about how liquids behave on a 3D surface. That means, for example, sweat or blood on the body when it runs down from a body. I have to be honest, though, we haven't seen any flowing blood yet, but you can imagine it working similarly to the sweat system. And you can see that clearly in trailer number 2. What's also going to be interesting when it comes to blood is this. For example, if you shoot down an NPC and they start bleeding on the ground, then according to the new patent, the blood should flow down the mountain or, for example, down the steps. So, with that, we're done with the first point, and it's clear that our characters are going to be completely dynamic. And of course, characters also need a place to live. In GTA terms, that's also called a safe house. And the interiors will change more individually than ever before. And there are not only leaks about this, but also official patents. So, first of all, let's talk about the leaks. The son of a Rockstar Games employee leaked information to one of his colleagues, and that colleague made everything public. There was also that cute gameplay leak video, and the colleague claimed that in GTA 6, you can enter 70% of the buildings. If you take a look at the cutting-edge graphics of GTA 6 and set aside that $1 billion spent on production so far, the first thought that comes to mind is, wait a minute, the GTA 6 map is supposed to be 2 to 3 times bigger than the GTA 5 map, plus all the details and next-generation graphics. How is it supposed to work that we can enter 70% of the buildings, when in GTA 4 it was only 10 to 15%? Well, that's where the patent comes into play, because Rockstar Games has developed a new AI, and this AI generates rooms differently than before. Because up until now, no matter where you went, for example, if you walk through the door into Michael's house, at that moment, only Michael's house exists, and as soon as you leave, this new world develops and gets preloaded. And this process used up a massive amount of resources. If you were in Michael's house, the entire house would be preloaded, even if you didn't actually want to go upstairs to see if Amanda was doing her private exercises again. But Rockstar Games has developed an AI that makes it possible to preload only what's in your field of view. This means that gameplay also takes place over long distances, but the details only develop as you get closer. And I actually have a fitting leaked clip for you guys. Please don't laugh, okay? It might look weird, but it perfectly illustrates the AI system. Yeah, that glitched urinal floating in the air, which really shouldn't be there unless it's supposed to be a toilet for the birds. Yes, this urinal disappears when Jason moves away from it. When GTA 6 is released, the range will of course be much greater, and it will definitely look smoother. The patent also described that you can customize the furniture individually. It also mentioned various luxury classes, like a table made of marble, a table made of wood, or a table made of steel. That could be an indication that we can customize the apartment. And you can especially see that you can change the apartment in GTA 6 in trailer number 2. Because even in just these 2 different shots, you can see several differences. Marked in yellow, that's where the wall was built. At the white marking, you can see a plastic sheet. That means there wasn't a door there yet. It was bought later. Yeah, and even the lighting has changed. On the left, we only had a makeshift lamp, and on the right, everything was upgraded. And we already had a simplified version of this system in Red Dead Redemption 2, where we could upgrade our camp. And now it seems that Jason not only repairs the roof, but also renovates the apartment together with Lucia. Oh, and it would also be possible to get all kinds of appliances or some decorative items. Because if you compare these 2 scenes, you can see that there isn't even a kitchen on the left. And something that's always asked for and welcome in any apartment, of course, is pets. And at this point, I'd like to introduce you to my cat, Loki. But as we all know, everyone has different tastes. And so Jason and Lucia decided, hey, we're not getting a cat or a dog. No, we're getting a snake. Whether you'll be able to keep dogs and cats too, well, that's still up in the air. One thing is for sure, NPCs and animals will interact. So, now we definitely have 2 points. Not only can we completely change ourselves, but also the area where we sleep, eat, or have fun. Yeah, and the house has to be somewhere, after all. That's why we're moving on to the next point, the world and environment. According to the latest patent, the NPC system is being changed, and this change is so extensive, detailed, and forward-thinking that Rockstar Games decided to open a separate server for it. Yeah, and this server gives the freedom and the possibility to keep making updates, because with the previous installments, it was a bit more difficult. Once the NPCs were programmed and everything was loaded onto the console, the work was done and they said, okay, that's how it's going to be now. Except, of course, if there were any serious issues or bugs, then they could obviously fix those. But for the most part, it was finished. Now, however, Rockstar Games has decided to make the whole thing dynamic. That means, over the years, you could keep changing the NPCs and how they think, or they could even change their thinking by learning on their own. That's also why there's a dedicated server, because Rockstar Games is really hoping for something big here. And in the patent, it was even mentioned that the NPCs could have a daily routine, among other things. That means the NPC leaves the house right at 7 o'clock, is at the bus stop at 7:30, and waits there for their bus. The bus driver also has their own routine, making sure to be there at 7:30. Plus, you'll keep seeing the same NPCs during the week who are going to the same jobs. And when they're done at some point, they head back home. And the world is supposed to be so dynamic that there are different days of the week that actually make a difference. For example, on weekend evenings, you'll see a lot of drunk NPCs out partying, while during the week it's quieter because everyone has to go to work. We've already seen some footage of this dynamic day system, even in the shoe store. Because you can definitely tell that there will be all kinds of different events on different days. But it's not just the NPCs who behave in unique ways. The traffic behavior is supposed to be dynamic too. Traffic jams, evasive maneuvers, or reactions. An older NPC will drive completely differently than some gang member trying to act cool. We might even be able to spot a traffic jam from a distance just by looking at the NPCs. I'd rather take a different route. Or maybe we'll even get a notification on our navigation system warning us about an upcoming traffic jam. Yeah, and we'll tie the traffic behavior right into the next point because it's about police behavior. And of course, that means all sorts of things, the escalation level or the pursuit strategy. And for that, there's the following scene in the first official trailer. First of all, you have to rely on the AI again. The system recognized, okay, the chase was on the highway. We don't want to pursue with a regular patrol car. No, now we're calling in a new special unit, and these officers are trained for exactly these kinds of chases. During the chase, there was also an accident, and the AI responded to that as well, because the police set up a spontaneous, small roadblock. Plus, the police recognized the danger. Now we have to make sure that no one was injured, and also ensure that we arrest the suspects. Again, it's clear to see the AI's awareness here. And if you pay attention to the NPCs on the left, they also noticed the accident. In GTA 5, they would have just driven right over it, over the people, the bodies, the debris. But here, they stop and even swerve to avoid the wreckage. And that brings us back to the topic of traffic behavior. And in general, when it comes to the police, yeah, Rockstar Games has definitely made a huge leap forward, because in GTA 5 or the other games, it was always like this. The police would show up and just try to take you down. They didn't care about risking their own lives. They'd jump off skyscrapers, pull off crazy stunts with their cars, because, like I said, they had only one goal, to eliminate you. Yeah, and in the leaked footage, you can see that the police act much more strategically, because while in the past they would start shooting as soon as you had 2 stars, in this footage, shooting was their last resort. The police only started shooting after Jason and Lucia stole the vehicle. Or in general, here the police arrive, leave their lights flashing, and first try to assess what's going on. A few frames later, you can even see the police questioning the NPCs. And there are rumors that the police system will finally become dynamic, and the wanted stars you saw in the leaks might not disappear completely, but instead be used depending on the situation. But if you manage to escape, yet they have your license plate, your face, or your name, it could happen that you end up being shown on the news, and then some NPC might recognize you and call the police. And that brings us to another important point. The days we had in GTA 5 will finally be over. Back then, you just had to fire a shot out in the desert, and even if there wasn't a single NPC around, or just some damn puma, you'd still often get a wanted star and the police would show up. Yeah, the system will probably be taken from Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, where you're wanted until you pay off your debts. Either you go to jail, or over time you meet someone who knows their way around the system, and for a small fee, they'll wipe your record. Alright, the next point is weather and nature. The weather will affect your behavior and your physics. Yeah, there have been several reports about this too, because in GTA 6 it will make a huge difference. For example, whether you try to run away from the police in wet clothes or dry clothes, or whether you can swim faster with or without armor. And it even goes so far that there are rumors you can get a sunburn. There's also speculation, among other things, that there might even be hurricanes. And when it comes to flooding, there were several hints in the trailer and the screenshots. Let's start by talking about this screenshot. On the left, you can definitely see a scale, and this scale shows how high the water level is at the moment. Of course, it could just be for looks, but it's definitely there. Another clue pointing to flooding is Jason and Lucia's house. Because if you look at the house and its structure and do some research online, you will quickly realize this kind of design is only found in houses built close to the water. And here's the explanation. If a flood comes, there's no basement, nothing can get flooded, no ground floor, nothing. The house is safe. What's interesting is the weather. During these news reports, something was shown on screen, saying that a man was pulled into the storm and then spit back out. Say what you want. I think it would be super cool to be on a cruise ship somewhere out in the middle of the ocean and suddenly a huge hurricane comes and we have to figure out, what do we do next? Because the way water behaves has also changed. Yeah, and for that, you just have to watch trailer 1 and trailer 2, or even look at the screenshots. It looks beautiful here. Over there, it's more greenish. Here's the swamp area, and we'll even get to see a huge lake. And something else that fits with the topic of nature and weather is, of course, the animals, because they'll also recognize their surroundings. Alligators will be in the swamps, lions and pumas somewhere in the mountains, or rather, in the forests. Then we also have flamingos and other birds by the shallow water. So, when it comes to carnivores, it's not just you who'll be excited, but of course Monty as well. So, those were the most important points, and now we come to the gameplay system, because the gameplay system will also be dynamic, as we've already mentioned. The AI will probably get its own server. Missions could be updated over time. This means that if Jason or Lucia were to die, or even both, Rockstar could just say, hey, we're releasing an update and now you play a new story, independent of Jason and Lucia, but still in the same city. Destruction and chaos also leave their mark. Let's go back to that accident again. That accident happened. The police have blocked off the street. The 2 suspects being chased are dragged out of the car. Either they get arrested right away, or an ambulance comes and takes them to the hospital. But in the worst case, a hearse might have to show up. And no matter how it plays out, it could even be so dynamic that in the end, the fire department comes and clears away all the debris. And the dynamic world could also adapt to prices and the economy, because there were some political hints in the screenshots as well. And as you can see on the left here, there are election posters. It could happen that, over the course of the story, the currency just collapses dynamically and suddenly products and vehicles become a lot more expensive. Or maybe we have something like a shitcoin in-game that suddenly skyrockets overnight. Oh yeah, a little fun fact on the side, in GTA 6, you can also become a billionaire if you play the lottery. We see this station not only in the first trailer, but also in the second one. Yeah, guys, we've definitely only just scratched the surface of GTA 6's perfection. If you want to see even more, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything when we report again on how awesome GTA 6 is going to be.